Let's do a quick visual of how you can use nasturtium in your garden. So here is our sample garden. In these first two garden raised beds up top, we basically have a bunch of crops that are growing over a trellis on either side, and we do have nasturtium in the bed. However, I placed them on the corners on purpose. Place them in the corners of the raised beds. This allows me to do any pruning and remove any of the pests without damaging any of the other crops excessively. Now the second bed shows what it would look like if you were to plant the nasturtium outside of the garden bed proper. This is basically just a couple of nasturtium that are placed in containers a couple of feet outside of the raised bed. While I like to have my nasturtium occasionally in a separate pot, I don't like them to be too far away from my crops or too far away from the garden, because if it's kind of out of sight, it's going to be out of mind. And if you do not manage the pests that are on the nasturtium, then they will eventually overtake the nasturtium and move on to your other crops. So I like to be able to have the nasturtium close so that I can keep an eye out on it. Now, I don't currently have anything going on in my garden right now, but I will show you where I put the nasturtium in my garden. This is my main garden space. Again, raised beds and green stalks. And in my garden, I actually did not place any nasturtium in the raised beds. I only had them in the green stalks, and I had nasturtium on each of the green stalks. And because of the location, I could very easily check the nasturtium. I could see whether or not the plants were overly affected. And if I needed to, I could remove the plants without them, again, overly affecting the crops that were in my raised beds.